Hello?
Hi, it's Susanna Hoffs calling.
Oh, hi, Susanna. Welcome to the Wiseguyz show.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. And let me just start off by saying that I am shaking in my boots just having to talk to you right now. Because it's such an honor. Because I'm the biggest fan of the 80s that ever came out of the 80s. And it's still alive in me today. And you're proof positive of why.
Thank you so much.
And I want to also thank you for taking the time out to do this. I know you're extremely busy. Are you currently on tour right now, if I'm not mistaken?
We're going to be any minute now. We're sort of starting all the promo and we're doing some press stuff in LA, but then the actual tour starts October 1st in Philadelphia.
Oh, okay. Because I actually was online and I checked it out, and I see you're going to be in my neck of the woods at the Stone Pony in Asbury Park, which I will be there.
Oh. Yay!
So, and I'm gonna promote it as much as I can because we got a big following in Jersey because that's where we're down by the Jersey Shore anyway. So you definitely have my support, that's for sure.
Yay! That's awesome.
But for everybody who doesn't know, we're on the phone right now with Susanna Hoffs, legendary recording artist and a member of the iconic 80s group, the Bangles, which I'm sure everyone knows or have seen a video of. Susanna, may I call you Susanna?
Of course.
All right, well, I just want, I'm old school Italian. I'm very respectful until I get the green light,
I love it.
But, okay, you grew up in L.A., and give us an idea of, how did you first get into, what was your first love of music? Was it when you were young? What were your influences?
Yeah, well, it was definitely when I was young. Growing up in California, we were always settled around in a car, and the radio was always on. It was truly the soundtrack to my childhood, and I just loved music from the beginning. As a kid, I would sing along, and everything I heard on the radio in the 60s. I mean, my mom was really into music, so of course the Beatles. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know what else. I don't know what to say, actually. They were like such a big influence, and actually, really, I would sort of cite them as the band that kind of brought the Bangles together in many ways. Our love for that group, but it was so many songs that I heard, so many bands. It was like the harmonies in the Bangles. I was very inspired by the Mamas and the Papas, and we loved the psychedelic rock stuff. We even in the 70s and 80s and 90s and on, we were collecting all those cool, obscure, garage rock things. And it was kind of the Bangles are kind of a mishmash of pop, and even that garage rock stuff, and everything from the Beatles to the Byrds to the Mamas and Papas to the Rolling Stones, Zeppelin. I mean, it just goes on and on, and
So you're like a melting pot of everything. A little bit, but that's great. I mean, I've loved the music since day one, and I'm not a musician. I'm a stand-up comic. That's what I do. But I mean, I'm a music lover since I can remember, and I'm a big heavy metal guy. I'm like a rare bird out in New Jersey. I'm the only Guido, I think, that likes heavy metal. So I'm in a class by myself.
That's interesting, yeah.
So how did the Bangles form? Did you know each other before this, or was it just three people who loved music that came together and just, the rest is history?
Oh, yeah. I mean, no, we actually met in a kind of a bizarre way. Well, Vicki and Debbie are sisters, so they knew each other from birth. But I met them through an ad in the paper.
Oh, really?
You can believe it, yeah. I had just come home. I went to University of California at Berkeley, so I was hanging out up in Berkeley, and it was really a cool time to be in college because it was in Berkeley, which is in the Bay Area, across the bridge from San Francisco, and so I saw the last ever Sex Pistols show. I saw Patti Smith. I saw the Talking Heads. I saw all this great stuff.
Wow.
In the 70s, and when I came home, I was because I was studying art, and I was doing theater, and I was in the dance department. I was doing all kinds of stuff in this kind of art-related, and then I saw these bands playing, and I went, that's my art project. That's what I want to do. I want to form a band.
Wow.
And I want to, and I've been going to the record shops and collecting vinyl.
Oh, yeah.
And listening, and yeah, like really, really like researching. Because when you're a kid, you hear a song on the radio, you don't really know like who the group is, or sometimes you don't. There was a lot of really cool one-hit wonder stuff.
Right, absolutely. And you know the song chapter and verse, but you don't have no idea who it is.
Yeah, exactly. So, I was, during that college period, I was like really researching it and, kind of learning and teaching myself. And I had played like guitar since I was a little kid, but, I started getting electric guitars and, amps and this was going to be my big project. And I put an ad in the newspaper. I mean, it was crazy. Instead of the Craigslist at the time, there was this paper in the LA area called The Recycler.
Oh, okay.
To buy like a couch or a washing machine, or it had like a whole single section, but it also had like looking for band, members for a band. We had like musicians.
You posted the ad, or Vicky and Debbie posted it looking for a band member?
No, I posted it.
Okay, and you taught yourself how to play guitar, or were you self-taught, or? I
was basically self-taught completely with music. I had an uncle who was a really good guitar player, so he taught me my first chords when I was like, 6, 7, 8, something like that, really young. And then after that, I just really old classic folk style, we would sit around the schoolyard and with our guitars, and somebody would know, like, Stairway to Heaven, and they'd start playing it and teach somebody it, like we would teach each other anything we knew.
Is that like whenever you teach guitar, that's like the first song you play that, and like Deep Purple, Smoke on the Water and stuff?
Yeah, Smoke on the Water is a great first song because it's so easy.
I think that's
I learned that little harmonic thing in the beginning of Roundabout, the Yes song, that was like really hard. And then, no, I think Stairway to Heaven, you got to be really good to play that. I still don't know how to play that. But the other one is Blackbird, the Beatles' Blackbird.
Oh, okay.
You can learn that. And it's kind of hard, but it's not as hard as Stairway to Heaven. But
well, you know what? You
really know what you're doing if you play that.
Well, first of all, you've been in the business for over 30-plus years, so you must be doing something right.
Thank you.
Well,
but again, self-taught. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been around musicians who are really, like, trained, and I admit to them that I don't know how to read music, and they're like, and I feel terrible, like, I never learned, but it all just started happening. I met the Peterson sisters. They came over to I had, like, a little music room set up in my parents' house in the garage, because we didn't really use it for cars. You don't really need to park your cars in a garage here, because the weather's pretty nice, and so we turned it into like a playroom kind of thing.
Oh, cool.
Came over, and we started jamming, and then we played this Jefferson Airplane song called White Rabbit.
Oh, yeah.
They taught it to me. It was like, wow, I love that song. I never realized that's pretty easy to play. So we started playing the song, and it was just so fun and cool. I was like, wow. Debbie Peterson plays drums, and Vicky plays guitar. I played guitar. We didn't have a bass player, but we just made it sound like, we sounded kind of like a band that first night. And so we just decided on that very first night, let's do it. Let's do this thing.
Oh, wow.
It just kind of went from there. It was just kind of a magical night.
Well, it skyrocketed, obviously. Where was the first, the actual first, venue you actually played at?
Oh, the first venue? Oh, well, the first, we played a party. We all had, day jobs, we would do music at night.
Right.
I was working in this bizarre factory, of all things, in Santa Monica. So we made ceramics.
Oh, my God.
I know, it's crazy. And then Vicky was working at a movie studio. So our first official gig was playing a party on the movie lot that she worked on. She was she wasn't like a secretary. She was more like the grounds manager or something like that. I don't remember exactly what her official title was. But so our first gig was playing a party, and then the next gig we had, which felt more like the gig was, and I don't know where the venue was. It was a weird, party for a punk magazine.
Okay.
Called No Magazine, and we were this all-girl pop band, and we were the only band that wasn't a punk band on the bill. It was all boy punk bands, the height of the LA punk scene.
Right.
And so it was trial by fire. I mean, we got, we were like changing into our little outfits in the station wagon, getting ready, putting makeup on in the car. We go out, and it's like this sea of punk rockers, and we're like, that's when I had my epiphany. I was like, I better act like I know what I'm doing, because I have no idea how to get up in front of people and play rock and roll. We played everything really fast.
Right.
Hard. And we were like thrashing around and moving around, and I thought, this is fun. I want to do this for the rest of my life. This is really a lot of fun. And that was kind of like a life-changing gig. After that, we started playing all the famous local clubs around LA, like, ones you probably heard of, like the Whiskey A Go-Go.
Oh, yeah.
And the Viper Room, before it was the Viper Room, was called the Central. There's a whole bunch of clubs on the Sunset Strip. But we played all over town.
That's the pinnacle of music right there in LA, yeah.
Played,
Absolutely.
Theater dudes, yeah.
But that must have been like you must have been a little nerve-wracking at first, and like I don't know, like an all-girl band, and you just weren't even doing punk music, though. It must have been like exciting and nervous for you.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I mean, we were scared to death to go on that stage, and that happened to us so many times. But honestly, I look back on those most terrifying moments on stage, and every time I had one of those, I walked away off the stage having learned so much. Like, we had one where we went on tour with the English Beat. And at the time, they were like really, really popular, had a huge following. And, we're like the opening band. Nobody cares,
Yeah.
Looking at us very suspiciously, very skeptic, a lot of skepticism. Who are these chicks here? What are they going to do? Like, they're going to suck, and, they're going to be terrible. And so we, really tried to win the crowd over every single night.
Right.
Half the time, they were throwing stuff at us.
Are you serious?
I mean, we did a gig in Manchester, England.
Wow.
Yeah, when that was, and they were, throwing stuff at us.
Really?
Yeah, but what we found out afterwards is I was so appalled. I was like, oh my God, get me out of here. But I made it through. I made it through the show. But then we found out later, we were talking to some of the kids in the audience, and they're going, no, we don't spit at you when we don't like you. That's what we do when we like you. We spit at you. That's what you do in Manchester. And I was like, oh, okay. I didn't get it. I didn't get that it was some kind of gesture of love.
Yeah. That's
they hated us.
But, you must have been doing something right. I mean, look, and I mean, you took the world by storm. I mean, you're the only ones that I know of, all female or not, that are still around.
Well, thank you.
I mean, I see a lot of the 80s artists perform, like Flock of Seagulls and this one and that one. But, I mean, you are, I mean, and that's a big thing, because, like you mentioned the Talking Heads before, they vowed never to play again because there's some kind of infighting going on. And
oh, yeah, that's a drag. That's too bad. No, we love it. We really enjoy it, and, I don't see why. I mean, I can't think of a better job.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it's a little tricky with the families and stuff. But
Well, you provide I mean, you take care of the balance of that. I mean, you have I read up on a little bit about you guys, and you have full lives, and yet you're still committed to doing that music, and that's not an easy thing to do, especially with families and kids and stuff. But
yeah, no, it's complicated, but it's good. And our kids are all totally into it. They come to the shows. We don't take our kids on the road because we don't want to pull them out of school and do that whole thing.
Yeah, no,
I want my kids to have a really great normal childhood, not be living in a different hotel room every night. We don't tour. We're careful about how much we tour now. We just do it when it's the right thing to do. We just did 3 tours of Australia because they love their music over there. I'll tell you, they just keep bringing us back. But that's I like to play the East Coast at least every year or so, because it's really nice to reach out to the fans and make new ones. That's the cool thing about the 80s. The whole audience that loves the 80s is getting younger and younger. I mean, my kids like the 80s. I mean, it's kind of funny.
You are so correct, because let me tell you, I get made on my show. See, we're stand-up comics, and we do a show called the Wiseguyz Show, but I am a big fan of the 80s, and all summer long we did this thing, Tribute to the 80s, and we kept playing your videos. We're very prevalent, because I was always... As a matter of fact, I used to date a girl in high school who could be your twin sister. And we always used to call her Susanna Hoffs. It's funny.
That's funny.
But, I mean, you're right. The audiences are getting younger and younger. I mean, as far as the listeners, everybody knows, like, these songs and stuff. I mean, they may not be mega fans like me, but they know it. And that's a compliment to you guys, I think, you know.
Thank you.
I mean...
I really appreciate that.
As a matter of fact, I never could play an instrument. I always wanted to learn how to play guitar, but I recently acquired the Rickenbacker guitar that you designed.
Really?
From a collector.
Oh my God!
It cost me a pretty penny, and hopefully someday when I run into you, you'll be able to sign it, because that's going up. I have two guitars, because I'm a big Kiss fan, so I have the Gene Simmons Axe guitar, and now I have the one I got from a collector, the Rickenbacker that you designed, which is
That's incredible. Well, maybe you can come to the show when we're in New Jersey.
I am definitely going to come. Hopefully I'll get a chance to bow in front of you and say I'm not worthy like that.
Oh, no.
But,
so funny.
Go ahead.
I recently met the Kiss guys, a couple of them, yeah.
Yeah, you know, they're hard to come by, and they were a pretty penny, but I don't care. I'm a big collectibles guy. Like, and as a matter of fact, when you were talking about, like, when you used to go to the record stores, I should have, you don't think about it back then. I'm now looking for old vinyl and stuff from the 80s and the 70s, and I'm trying to, just put them away to keep. Like, I'm looking for, like, a lot of heavy metal stuff and 80s stuff. I came across a couple of your albums, and I grabbed them up right away. You know what? And you know where you find most of this stuff? At garage sales.